Hi, good morning, and you are watching Halagonia.ca, Atlantic Canada's first and only web streaming broadcasting service. As you'll notice on the website, it's a new layout. There's all kind of new fandangle trickery things and buttons that you can press and look at. So there's lots of information. Right now, we have two guests that are debut Atlantic. We have, and I'm going to let him do the clapperboard before I do anything else, and action! There you go. We have Marc Djokic. Thank you for coming in, Marc.
Thank you.
And we have Julian LeBlanc.
Hello.
Hello. Thank you for coming in.
Thank you for having me.
And thankfully, it's a really nice warm day out there today. So it's kind of like you've got your shirt on, unbuttoned slightly. If it was 2 days ago, you would not have come in looking like that because it was freezing in here. I swear there was icicles coming off.
Well, you know how cold it is by just looking at my shirt. So it's really cold if it's like this. Not bad there, and this is pretty warm. So it's a measurement system.
So these are measurement systems. just continuing this shirt. It's very funny. So these guys have been touring. They've done 4 shows so far. I think 3 or 4 around the province, and they've got quite a few more to do. So we're going to ask them a few questions. And the first one I'm going to ask you guys is, what's Debut Atlantic all about?
Well, Debut Atlantic is an organization that brings classical musicians to the Atlantic provinces. Quite often musicians from other parts of the country, but in this case we're both Maritimers, which is kind of nice because I think the purpose of the tour was to bring people from outside, but then when they heard us, they decided to take us, and it's actually also this tour that brought the two of us working together. We knew each other, but we had never done work together, and we kind of both applied to do the tour separately and decided to join us together.
Oh, so there's an application process you had to go through.
Exactly, you have to send in a portfolio and audition tape and things.
Casting sessions?
Well, it's kind of like that, I guess.
Yeah.
You submit a tape, and you kind of explain, what kind of act you have, what kind of product, and I guess I thought it'd be cool to have us tour together, and so far it has been cool.
So you knew each other. Had you actually played together before?
No, we actually met at a festival where we both performed in the festival. I didn't play with Marc, I played with his father and his sister. But we met each other there, and we kind of thought that it would be nice to get a chance at some point to work together, but it took a couple of years before it actually happened.
So I just heard you said you played with his father and his sister, so is music, obviously music's in the family.
Yeah, like my dad plays violin. He studied in New York at Juilliard, and his career as a concert violinist, and he also teaches at Dalhousie University. And my mom's a pianist. She also went to Juilliard and teaches there. And my sister is a concert cellist, now living in Boston. But she's done this tour before.
Okay, so I'm going to ask you a question, which is obviously, it's in the blood. Yeah. So you obviously popped out when you was born. What instrument was you holding?
Well, actually, I really wanted to play the violin because I hear my dad teaching the violin.
Yeah.
And so I just started off when I was really young and never looked back.
Oh, really? Oh, God. So, what about yourself? What's your musical background?
Well, actually, I come from a very non-musical family, and I come from a part of the world where classical music is not heard very often.
Where's that?
I'm from New Brunswick. I'm from rural New Brunswick. I think country and western is probably much more popular, but I guess I had like aunts that listened to music, and I was kind of exposed to it quite at a young age, and I completely fell in love with that style of music. And for me, I guess it was a way of being kind of different from everyone else.
So were you outcast from the rest who were kind of toe tapping away to country music?
Yeah, exactly.
There you were scratching your head, thinking, "No, this isn't for me."
Yeah, I was kind of the alien.
So obviously, years later, you play the violin.
I played the piano.
You played the piano, sorry.
Yeah.
And how many years would you say is that you've been actually kind of doing it more full on as musicians? Is it?
I kind of started when I was in school. had a few concerts, and I'd have to leave school for that. Of course, I'd get in trouble because I wouldn't get excused from classes. I just kind of like disappear and then be like, "Where's Marc?" But after that, I signed with management and been performing regularly, and I do that full time.
Yeah.
It's a career, so.
Oh, okay. And what about you? What about yourself?
I kind of did like my first official professional gig when I was about 16, and since then I've been doing concerts and doing a lot of collaborations with different musicians and some solo work also.
Okay, and you obviously work with other Croatian musicians that come across here?
Yeah.
So, yeah, okay. Are they musicians that live here as well, sorry?
Well, we actually both live in Montreal. I do work with a lot of people from the Maritime provinces, or quite often musicians that are originally from here but live somewhere else in Canada. So,
So how are you finding it here in the province so far? I mean, just on tour, what's the reception been like to your performances?
It's been pretty good. I mean, there have been various numbers of people coming to the concerts, and I'm not sure which thing we play they like the most. They definitely like our Jamiroquai encore. We're doing a Jamiroquai tune as an encore at the end. But I think I had a lot of fun at the Fred concert, actually, because we got to choose a lot of different music for that, and people seemed to really like it, and it was a cool environment.
So Fred's is the place where it's the hairdressers.
Yeah.
And the restaurant. So whereabouts in Fred's is it? Do they move some tables? I only went there for the first time last week.
Well, seats going around like this.
It's mostly in the art gallery area, I think.
Okay.
Yeah. And there's quite a lot of space there, and the sound is pretty good. And I like the fact that it's a very intimate setting, and it's a bit more informal than when you play like on a stage concert. So yeah, and for that show, we kind of went out of our regular repertoire and kind of did a lot of different things, which was kind of fun.
Would you like the opportunity to do that a little bit more, to kind of break out of your repertoire? Or is it just nice on the odd occasion?
Well, I really like the music we play anyways on our tour. I mean, but it's cool to have a different program along the tour because we're playing the same thing every day. So this is kind of like a refreshing thing, you know.
Yeah.
So, but actually, my favorite thing about the Fred gig was this piece I did for amplified electric violin with digital delay and reverb, and it was so boomy in that place, so it actually turned out really, really good.
You kind of resonated around there and turned a few heads by the sound of it.
Yeah, I borrowed a friend's Mesa Boogie amp, and it was just, nice reverb in there. So
excellent. So where have you played so far? Just give the gigs you've done so far.
The first one was in Liverpool, the second one at Fred, and then we played in Truro. And yeah, tonight we're in Annapolis Royal, or in Dartmouth.
So you've got to get in the car, go to Annapolis Royal, perform, then drive all the way back to Dartmouth. Obviously you've got a few more gigs around. Where are you after Dartmouth?
After that?
Yeah.
We're off to Newfoundland, actually.
You're after Newfoundland,
yeah.
so kind of then you're all... How do you deal with this? How do you obviously you put your application in, you got put together, then suddenly you're kind of in this whirlwind tour, driving everywhere. How you're playing the same thing every night? What do you do to prepare?
Well, it actually gets easier as we go along. The more we perform this program, the more comfortable we are with it, and we'll take more chances, do different things, try to make it more interesting for us. I'm really looking forward to the one today because it'll be the first concert that I'm not violently ill on stage. So I'm actually fully recovered now, so I'm ready to go in there with a vengeance.
So not only was you a musician, you was a performing artist, vomiting on stage.
Well, it was more like strep throat and fever, so I was actually completely sedated off of medicines and that could have been interesting. I can't even remember.
Look at that violinist. Is he tripping or is he just... Look at his eyes, man. Oh gosh, so that's really good. How long have you got left on the tour, Debut Atlantic?
Well, we're touring till March 17th. So we're after Newfoundland, we go to New Brunswick, then back to a couple gigs in Nova Scotia, and back to New Brunswick after that. The last gig is in Fredericton.
So do you know whereabouts in Dartmouth the gig is? I know it's probably. I actually know
It's the Woodlawn Church. I don't know.
Woodlawn Church.
Yeah, I don't know the
Yeah,
address.
community church is called.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can go on the Debut Atlantic website. You just like Google our names and Debut Atlantic, and you can find the website.
Yeah, and all the dates and
Okay.
venues are listed.
Yeah.
All right. Fantastic. Thank you for coming in.
Thanks a lot.
That's a pleasure.
It's been fun.
That's been fun. And
How should I do it?
cut.
Cut.
But usually do that on action, not the cut. But
Well,
anyway.
I
Just
do
do it again
things,
for
I
the
do
fun
things
bit.
differently.